this it?
Yeah. You had your lap better.
Good evening. Welcome to Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only LGBTQ plus daily evening television news, broadcasting live and available on demand. Available on all smart televisions, including Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, Amazon Fire TV, YouTube, and Facebook. It's time to queer up the news. It's Monday, April 17th, 2023. We are live and literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we're going to tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
This is the world's first live daily LGBTQ evening news show, literally out of the closet and into the headlines on Queer News Tonight with Al Ferguson.
Hola, mi gente. I'm your anchor at Queer News Tonight, FayWhat. I am filling in for Mr. Al Ferguson, your gay guru's out on vacation somewhere. Or maybe he's locked in the trunk of my car. Who knows? Either way, I'm here for you. This evening, we bring you the news of and perspective representing the LGBTQ plus community from South Florida, America, and across our planet.
This is the world's first and only unedited live LGBTQ plus evening news show. Whatever happens, unique in LGBTQ plus evening news, you will see it and hear it.
Hotspots Magazine Happening Out Television Network is a nonprofit 501c3 media company in the same model of PBS and NPR, but designed for the LGBTQ plus community. Our mission is to support the 10 pillars of our LGBT plus community. We want to inform and educate the key issues of our Black community, Latino, lesbian, trans, students, youth, seniors, HIV/AIDS healthcare, business, political, advocacy, and faith. Help us support our community.
We are part of one of the largest LGBTQ plus media companies in America, Hotspots Magazine and Happening Out Television Network. Our magazine is celebrating 38 years of the LGBTQ plus experience, and our television news, talk, and entertainment shows support our mission to educate the LGBTQ plus community and broader community.
So let's begin by welcoming anchor Dale Stine. Can I tell you how much I love this man? Have you ever heard my intro to the FayWhat show? It's him singing.
Yeah.
Look at that angelic voice. With a background in music and the arts, he's a well-known photographer, famous for his photographs of internationally acclaimed DJs, drag personas, and other entertainers, including me. He is presently the director of music ministry at Unity on the Bay, as well as moderator for South Florida's largest LGBTQ plus Facebook group, Miami Gayest, which can be found on Instagram as @GayListOfficial. Good evening, Dale. Welcome back, Papi.
Good evening, sister.
I feel like we've been together for the last 80 years.
Right.
But it's been 2 days.
Right. Well, yeah, we were together because we marched in the Miami Beach Pride Parade yesterday with our home, our spiritual home, Unity on the Bay, and we set up and decorated the party bus, and we walked in the heat. We were exhausted, and we're still here.
Oh, we have more to talk to you about Miami Beach Pride coming up. Trust.
Let's welcome anchor Amy McGrotty. Amy was a real estate attorney for almost 30 years before she transitioned into real estate sales and is now known as the real estateologist. She works alongside John Costelli and Rod Blacklock at Costelli Real Estate Services in Wilton Manors as part owner in residential and commercial sales. Amy studied and played taiko drums for a decade. She practices bass guitar in the privacy of her home and is a blacksmith hobbyist at the Guild in Pompano Beach and in the privacy of her own shop. She has previously provided pro bono legal services to people in need and now serves on the board of the Broward Realtors Charitable Foundation and the OUTshine LGBTQ plus Film Festival. Welcome, Amy.
Amy, welcome back, Mommy. Can you please tell me what a taiko drum is? And is it really loud? Is that why you only play it in the comfort of your own home?
Yeah. Well, we used to play Fushu Daiko's a local group. It's big Japanese drums.
Oh.
The smallest drum is about 36 inches in diameter, and the largest one, which we have fondly named Godzilla, 60 inches in diameter, and you play it.
Where do you store those things?
We have a warehouse.
Okay.
Yeah, we have to actually rent a warehouse because we're very loud, so we can't be in a residential neighborhood when we rehearse.
But isn't it awesome to take out aggression? Like when DeSantis comes out with other crazy crap, you could just start beating on those drums.
Totally.
Right?
Totally.
I love that.
What it's all about.
I love that. Amy, what else is going on? You're OUTshine coming up. Tell us.
Yes, OUTshine Film Festival coming to Miami. Is that the camera? Yeah, all right. Coming to Miami April 20th through the 30th. Downtown Miami, it's on the Miami side of the Barrier Island, not in the beach this year. Do it. It's great. Fabulous theater, fabulous films, the 25th anniversary. And if you live in Broward and you're afraid of the little drive to Miami, get a room.
Or take the Bright Line. The Bright Line goes down there to downtown. It's right there. Okay.
I love the Bright Line.
Thursday, I'm going to be there with Queer News Tonight. We're going to do a live show there from the opening night, and I'm really excited about
Where's
that.
the opening? Where's the opening? Is that Silver Spot also?
Yes.
But the whole festival's at
Silver Spot's an amazing, wonderful theater space.
Oh my God, they renovated, so the
It's
food is
beautiful.
great, everything is great. We're excited for you,
Talk
Miss
to
We're
Amy.
excited. Yeah. We all are. Okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's welcome anchor Pastor Harold Marrero. He is Safe Schools South Florida's newly appointed COO of Media and Communications. As an experienced and compassionate pastor based in Miami, Harold is deeply involved in local spiritual and social endeavors. Additionally, he's currently completing a doctoral degree program at the prestigious Duke University, further enriching his knowledge and understanding of faith-based initiatives and their impact on diverse communities. Harold is committed to using his unique blend of expertise, compassion, and dedication to make a lasting, positive impact on the lives of those he serves. Welcome, Harold.
Thank you for the welcome. I'm so happy to be here
I'm
with
so
you all.
happy to have you here. So, Harold, can I call you Harold, or do I have to call you Pastor Reverend Sir?
You can just call me.
Dear.
You can just call me Harold.
Harold.
That's a good way to.
Do you get one of those little things on your neck?
I can. I don't have one, but I can definitely wear one of those. I can.
There's guys who think that's hot.
I'm sure there is.
You could probably also get like a Reverend bonnet.
Oh, Reverend Bonnet. I like that
kinda
one.
fun.
Yeah, or like a little rainbow one. To put in there.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so anything you want to tell our viewers?
Yeah, I'm just, we just also finished Pride with Safe School South Florida, and we had over 50 people come and join and walk with us. And we also had the fabulous Heidi in Closet with us.
From RuPaul. I love her.
I love
Yeah,
her.
season 12 RuPaul's.
Was she nice in person, or was she an
Oh,
angel?
she was so nice. She was so down to earth. She was very authentic. She was just like, she just rolled with the punches. It was such a pleasure to work with her and her manager. It was just so great. And we had the fabulous Miss Finesse also, who's one of our board members.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah,
You know who Finesse is, right, Dale?
I've never met
So
Finesse.
Francesca is Finesse.
Oh, Francesca.
Francesca's alter ego is Finesse.
yes.
And she is wah, 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 wah. Like, she's just wah and wah. And I saw her and I walked by and I was like, look at that ass. Oh my God, it's Francesca. I was like, oh.
And she's making a comeback. And we were there at Hunter's also on Saturday night, and Miss Finesse walked out with the red carpet from a party bus. It was great.
I love that.
It was great. Yeah.
I love that. Well, you have an incredible team over there at Safe Schools.
Yes.
We adore Scott Galvin.
Yes, Scott's
we adore your whole entire crew over there. So I think that you're a fantastic addition, and I love that you've decided to join our table. Thank you for that.
Thank you for watching.
Pastor Reverend Sir Harold.
We are the reporters for Queer News Tonight, and this evening we begin with the queer headlines. The LGBTQ plus community in South Florida and across America is diverse. Our community across the world is vast, and here are the bullet points of the queer news for today, Monday, April 17th.
You okay?
Yeah, I dropped my remote.
You have to love live TV.
So,
right?
I'm trying to take the camera off, Dale.
See, folks, you see, live TV. All right, let's begin. Let's begin by queering up South Florida and Florida. Here's a recap of 2023 Miami Beach Pride and the strange anti-gay but gay representative, Fabian Basabe. Miami Beach Pride 2023, which concluded on April 16th, will be remembered for many things, including Florida House Representative Fabian Basabe. The Pride started on March 31st, featuring many fun and awareness events. From Pride Lights, the night and pool party, queer art showcase to dinner, pageant, movie night, and a Pride parade on Ocean Drive yesterday. While the community and the allies were participating in the event to support togetherness and equity, people were also trying to take unwanted advantage of the event for their political agenda, including Basabe. A group protesting Florida House Representative Fabian Basabe says he is in for a rude awakening. Basabe was planning to participate in the city's popular Pride festivities this past weekend, fresh off his votes to advance legislation that advocates advocates say will stigmatize and dehumanize the LGBTQ plus community as part of a barrage of bigoted bills on the verge of becoming law in Florida, accusing Basabe of hypocrisy and backtracking on his pledge to support the gay community. Equality Florida staged a protest outside Basabe's office to demand his resignation. The group also called on local residents to oppose his participation in the Pride events. You know, I will say that this man has more cojones than I thought, okay? Because when this came out, right, I think it was like on Friday or Thursday that there was a board meeting and he said, oh, well, if all drag queens were like my favorite drag queens, then everything would be okay, right? And then he mentioned drag queens that you and I both know.
Well, yeah. And some others that we don't love so much.
And some that we don't love so much. And basically said, if all drag queens were like this, it'd be okay. I love drag queens, blah, blah, blah. But I'm going to vote again. I'm going to vote for the trans bill, the anti-drag bill. I'm also going to say that that Don't Say Gay needs to be expanded and needs to go all the way to 12th grade. When he first ran, he was saying that he was on our side and that he was going to be an advocate for LGBTQ plus rights. And then there's this. I honestly did not expect him to do the parade. I thought for sure that after they went to his office on Friday that he wouldn't have the balls to do so.
I thought he got shamed out of it, but you know, he has zero shame. And I was at the end of when we finished the parade, and he came through, I guess, at the end, shortly after us. Yeah. And Max Fenning, one of our very own commentators here, was just gangbusters going. I mean, I've never seen such rage in Max's face.
And that little body.
But he was getting it. So Fabian was getting pummeled till the very, very end. I mean, the protesters did not want to let up. Even the parade's over, they didn't care. I mean, we're just going to follow you home and just pummel you.
And how long do you think the parade was yesterday? How long do you think the parade was?
We started at 12 and we finished about 1:30. So
okay, so it was an hour and a half, and there was people stationed like every quarter way, right, to just start screaming at him, resign, resign, you're a liar, go away, you know.
And there were people following him the entire way.
The entire way.
That was their purpose in life.
The entire way, and they had a SWAT team basically like surrounding him.
Wow.
Yeah. You know, I mean, I don't know con qué cara. Con qué cara do you go and all these queer people that you supposedly are standing up for, you're not. And then you have that face to be able to walk in our Pride parade.
And it's a shame because it tarnishes, you know, our democracy in ways that younger voters will be like, why do I continue to vote for people if they're not going to do what we voted them in for, or that do what they said they wouldn't do? Yeah. And then he goes and betrays us and just does, you know, whatever he wants once he gets up there. And that's hypocritical and unfortunate.
Very.
It is. That's all I got to say. So next, let's queer up South Florida and Florida. Historic flood hits gayest place on earth and knocks Queer News Tonight off the air.
Fort Lauderdale experienced the rainiest day in its history Wednesday, a 1 in 1,000 year rainfall event, sparking a flash flood emergency in Broward County that has prompted emergency rescues, forced drivers to abandon cars, shuttered schools, and shut down the airport through 5 a.m. Friday. And more rain is on the way. The region recorded widespread rainfall totals of more than a foot, while Fort Lauderdale tallied 25.91 inches in a 24-hour period, according to preliminary reports from the National Weather Service office in Miami. While the rain Thursday won't reach nearly the amounts that fell on Wednesday, it will be problematic and create additional flooding, the National Weather Service said.
Fort Lauderdale and other communities across southeast Florida are working to get life back to normal after monumental flooding wreaked havoc on the area, closing transportation hubs, schools, and government offices. During the peak of Wednesday's torrential barrages, a month's worth of rain fell in just 1 hour. Many of Fort Lauderdale's streets turned into lakes when rain exceeding 2 feet inundated the coastal city. As floodwaters receded Friday, first responders are still conducting wellness checks and assisting residents in need of shelter. The flooding impacts also prompted Broward County Public Schools Friday to cancel classes for the second consecutive day. The floods have hampered the LGBTQ+ community of Fort Lauderdale tremendously. Queer News Tonight team had to cancel the Thursday show right here as the hosts and the crew could not reach the studio safely due to heavy rain and flood. Many of the Happening Out television network staff are suffering due to the flood. The region faces 26 inches of rain in a mere 7 hours. In case you're wondering where the governor of Florida is, whether he's working day and night to help the state's residents recover from the loss, you're wrong. He's on a book tour in Ohio. During a press conference last week, Fort Lauderdale Mayor Dean Trentalis was asked if DeSantis had been in touch with him about the flooding. He said, quote, "Governor DeSantis has not yet called, but I'm sure he's very interested in what's going on here," end quote. Okay, so I live very close, and I'm very blessed that our house only got flooded in the garage. It was about 3 inches in the garage, and we had to clean the garage, so it was way over time. But I have many friends and clients right here in this neighborhood that have 4 to 8 inches in the house. It's terrible.
That is terrible.
And my heart breaks for those people. You know, a good friend of mine, Kevin Clevenger, basically has lost his home, you know, and the videos of his house, like with, 6 feet of water, at one part.
The water is out now.
Now it's out. But I mean, it's sewer water, it's dark water, it's black water. There's nothing that you can salvage from that. His bed was floating in a video, floating, and it's not uncommon. We saw so many videos on social media of all our friends going through the same thing, and no one knew. It was a 1 in 1,000 flood. Right. Who was going to be prepared for it? We just weren't. I was actually filming It's Happening Out here with the cast, and we got stuck here. Thank God I have a bed for my studio. I was like, "Gay boys, get off my bed." But we were stuck here, and at midnight, I have a lifted 4Runner because I'm that lesbian. And I said, "That's it. I'm going to try to get out. I'm sick of you people. I want to go home to my wife and my dogs." And I said, "I'm going to try it." And water still came in my lifted 4Runner. Wow. It was not pretty out there, and it was impossible to prepare for. It was like, for some people, they had to grab their things and run.
Yeah.
And then even after you get rid of the water, there's damage that happens to the structure of a house or whatever after that, and mold and mildew and all those other terrible things that go with it. Yeah. Not to mention all the things that you've lost in the process.
Yeah. But DeSantis is busy on his book tour, so he's worried about us. Homeowners insurance have doubled. We just dealt with a flood of a lifetime. And where's DeSantis? Page 3. Let's talk about how the governor changed Florida for bad.
Yeah. and it's crazy because they're calling it a once-in-a-lifetime event, right? But with the continual change of our climate, with the continual increase of these once-in-a-lifetime events, they're not going to be once-in-a-lifetime events anymore.
It's once this year.
It's once a year, or I mean, probably not once a year for a while. But as temperatures continue to rise and our weather system continue to become more and more unpredictable, these things will continue to happen.
Right? Gore is somewhere going, "I told you."
Yeah.
Didn't I tell you? Right? But I mean, think about it. It's not even rain season, folks. For folks that know about South Florida, our rain season, our hurricane season is not here yet. And we've already gotten so much rain in the last couple of weeks.
Yep.
We're not prepared. We're not prepared. But DeSantis, you'll get to us when you can. All right?
When he's finished.
We won't hold our breath.
Well, with that in mind, let's next queer up South Florida and Florida. Longtime South Florida gay rights advocate and publisher Norm Kent dead at 73. Fearless crusader, storyteller with a gift of gab and a whole lot of chutzpah, defender of the underdog, a lover of dogs and baseball. This is the description of Norm Kent, a native New Yorker who waged battle in the courtroom and on the front lines of gay rights and cannabis law. Kent died on Thursday at age 73, 3 weeks after entering hospice care at his longtime home in Fort Lauderdale's Victoria Park after a 2-year battle with cancer. The fedora-wearing man who loved the limelight was king of the hill when it came to taking on the lost causes as no one else would, and winning. The Brooklyn-born Kent wore many hats, criminal defense attorney, radio talk show host, billed as Stormin' Norman on WFTL from 1989 to 1992, and past chairperson of the board of directors at the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws. A fierce advocate for gay rights, Kent has frequently appeared as a commentator on CNN and Fox News. Kent has served as publisher of South Florida Gay News, a weekly LGBTQ+ newspaper launched in 2009. Before that, he published Express Gay News from 1999 to 2003 before selling the paper to a conglomerate. Kent, who beat lymphoma 20 years ago, tackled his health issues with honesty, bravery, and a sense of humor. He will be missed. Norm Kent was a kind of controversial figure in a lot of ways, which made him all the more lovable because he held back nothing and he just went for whatever he felt needed to be presented to people. He was, he was a journalist and he felt like that was his duty and that was his life's calling.
Yeah.
And also with that in mind, I just feel like the last 3 years we've lost so many icons. And these just yet another one on our long list. And 73 is not old, people.
No, it's not. It really isn't.
So it's really sad.
But he's got an incredible legacy, Dale.
Totally,
totally. I mean, just exactly like what you said, like what if he had an opinion, you were going to hear it. And if he heard about a news story, even if it pissed off some people, he was going to put it on the front page of SFGN. And that's the kind of cojones that I love in gay boys, and that is what he had. I only recently got to meet him and like just experience his character and his way of being. And he made you feel seen. He made you feel smarter by having a conversation with him because there was always something that you can learn from something that he knew. He just knew like a million pieces of useless and useful information, that kind of a person. So I think he's got an incredible legacy, and my heart and mind goes to all the people that have lost such an incredible person. I also send love going out to one of our anchors, John Hayden, who also works over at SFGN and held Mr. Kent as a mentor. So, he definitely will be missed.
Yeah, the other thing about Norm is that he was an attorney. So I remember when I was a wee young attorney coming up, a lot of his business focused on helping the gay guys that got arrested in Holiday Park for being in the bathroom, having sex, whatever, tricking. But he always represented the guys, and if they couldn't afford it, he would take care of them. He always
pro bono kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, if they had the money, he'd pay. He had an office to run, But so he always was with the underdog. He did that, and I forget. He was just always there fighting for our rights before he was a journalist. Oh, he sued the sheriff of Broward County, Nick Navarro, in the 80s. That was like a big thing when Nick was like being a little DeSantis type of person.
Wow. And you went to the memorial service held for Norm this morning.
Yeah, it was lovely. Yeah, it was at the Manor. And
how perfect is that? Like, I want a memorial service at the Manor, okay? If I pass,
party space,
right? Seriously, all right? Scott Holland, make it happen. I mean, how perfect is that, though? Like, in a place where you've probably partied and had a wonderful time, that's where people get to acknowledge and say what a great person you are, Just
a generous guy, too. The other thing was the guy that that lives with him, I don't know if they got married or not. He met him like 23 years ago, and he said, I was homeless, I was living under the bridge, and Norm came to me and was like, here's my keys. Whenever you want. And then the guy came like a week later or something in a rainstorm at 2 a.m. Norm had him in, and he's been there ever since.
Wow. That's like an episode of The Last of Us.
Yes.
All right, Pastor Harold, you are up, my friend.
Next, let's queer up gay culture. Our fund recognizes social justice recipients for 2023. Oh, the LGBTQ, sorry, that was a video. The LGBTQ Social Justice and Equity Funders Collaborative, a unique collaboration between the Our Fund Foundation and the Community Foundation of Broward, granted 8 nonprofit organizations a total of $250,000 in support of innovative initiatives supporting social equity and the civil liberties of LGBTQ+ residents of Broward County. Formed in 2022 to create a more informed and empathetic environment for the LGBTQ+ population, the strategic partnership combines critical philanthropic resources and expertise for the benefit of the LGBTQ+ community and all residents of Broward County. This year, the donors and recipients were celebrated during a grand reception in Wilton Manors on April 4th. A joint selection committee thoroughly vetted each nonprofit grantee and received between $29,000 to $50,000. And the recipients of the 2023 LGBTQ plus Social Justice and Equity Fund Funders Collaborative Grant include Equality Florida, Yes Institute, American Civil Liberties Union, Bayer University, Huge Songs, Museum of Discovery of Science, Ujima Men's Collective, and World AIDS Museum and Education Center. The purpose of this award is the expansion of this successful program promoting dialogue and eliminating HIV and AIDS stigma throughout education, artistic expression, and cultural programming. I love our fund. I recently got a chance to sit down with the head of their
David Jobin?
Yep.
I love him. I was going to mention him.
Yes, like he was great. They do such great work, and I'm so happy that especially those organizations were chosen to get that much needed money. Especially during the pandemic, all these organizations just looked at themselves and like, what are we going to do now?
Yep.
And I love how our fund and other organizations, other nonprofit organizations that raise money for these nonprofits, were able to step in and be like, let's do innovative programming, and we will, help you with paying for that.
Yeah. Well,
so
and
amazing.
And there were no organizations that got hurt the most than a nonprofit organization during COVID.
Yep.
Where were they going to get the money from? There was nothing going on. And our fund made sure that a lot of those organizations stayed afloat during that time. And that's what they're still doing. $30,000, $29,000 can literally make your organization be okay for a while.
Especially a small organization.
Especially a small organization. And they pick such exceptional organization. Okay. ACLU, we know, right? Equality Florida, we know. World AIDS Museum, such an incredible organization and all that they do. Ujima's Men's Collective. Okay. That's John Buckley and those incredible men that all they shine so bright for our Black and brown brothers out there. And, organizations like that, 30 grand is an incredible amount of money for them.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. And it allows them to innovate. And they, I really believe in innovation as resistance to what's happening in the world. And these nonprofits, with those funds, they can really do great things for our community and for all communities across, in this intersectional world that we live in today, where all of us are affected, not just the LGBTQ plus community.
Yeah. And every year it's not the same organizations also,
right.
Where you'll be like, okay, they have their favorites. It's not like that,
right.
Where I think it was when I was with Unity Coalition. Hi, Herb, right? And I had to sit for one of the vetting meetings, and they ask you all these questions. I was like, I thought you guys were just giving out money. I thought I just had to show up and smile. You'd give me the money. They're like, no.
It's a similar organization to Miami Foundation. It's kind of the more Broward version of Miami Foundation.
Thank you, ARFund, for all you do.
Yes, thank you, ARFund.
Next, let's queer up travel. Multiple travel warnings for LGBTQ plus safety have been issued against Florida.
The advocacy group Equality Florida said Wednesday it was taking the extraordinary step, quote, in response to a wave of safety inquiries following the passage of laws that are hostile to the LGBTQ community, restrict access to reproductive health care, repeal gun safety laws, foment racial prejudice, and attack public education by banning books and censoring curriculum. The warning came within hours of a similar message from the Florida Immigrant Coalition, which said travel across the state should be done with extreme caution because, quote, it can be unsafe for people of color, individuals who speak with an accent, and international travelers.
The LGBTQ plus advocacy group Equality Florida has issued that travel warning, informing individuals of the risks of visiting and relocating to Florida. The statement highlights the growing concerns of parents who are considering relocating students, unwilling to enroll in state universities and events and conferences that have been canceled due to hostile policies. The Florida Immigration Coalition also has issued a similar warning for immigrants. The Florida State Conference of the NAACP also voted to issue a travel advisory against Florida. Board of Directors Chairman Leon W. Russell said, quote, any location in America where our history has been erased does not offer us or our children a bright future, end quote. Last year, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis signed the Parental Rights in Education bill. Critics have condemned the so-called Don't Say Gay legislation. The state also passed legislation censoring Black history taught in schools, as well as banning books on race and LGBTQ plus issues. This year also, the trend continues with his administration finding ways of discrimination against the community. The governor's talking about expanding the law to all grades. He's quietly signed a bill that allows residents to carry a weapon without a license, training, or background check. Florida has also banned abortions after 6 weeks. I just don't even know what to say to this. Florida is a wonderful place, and I love living here. But what this guy is doing, I don't even know how it's happening. But I don't know how Trump got elected either, so the mysteries of the world continue.
Well, I mean, they get elected because our community doesn't vote. That's what happens, Amy.
Right.
So let's be clear about that, all right? Let's not pretend that, oh, this surprised us. You know what I mean?
The apathy of the community.
It's, you know, that it's the delusion that a lot of people in our community have, that until it's right in their face, they don't believe it, okay? And I've got friends that will say, oh, we got gay marriage, we're done.
Yep.
And they stopped fighting.
Wrong.
Yeah. And young people, you know, really don't go out and vote as much as they should. And that's unfortunate too. Yeah. And, you know, and it's so funny because you from the story that you reported, it's like, I challenge anyone to find a story of the good guys burning books and banning things.
Right.
I really challenge that because throughout history, it's always been the oppressive and repressive forms of government that try to ban access to knowledge.
It's based on fear. It's all based on fear.
All based on fear.
And it's, you know, it might be the last hurrah for, you know, that type of thinking in this country, but it's like they're trying to take us back 50 years. It's like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to go back.
And the ban, I mean, if I didn't live here,
you wouldn't believe it, probably.
No, if I didn't,
you wouldn't.
I mean, it's embarrassing, and it's just really embarrassing.
Yeah.
But if I didn't live here, I don't think I'd even find a way to support the state and say like, well, you know, it's still really good. I would say like, that place is really effed up, and like, no, don't go there. I mean, I think I would be like on the bandwagon of, you know, not supporting the state, but I mean, I live here, so I mean, I got to support the state.
Yeah,
so
I know.
It's a really weird conundrum I find myself in, like, because I think he's just doing all this to get attention, and he's just pulling at straws because, you know, when we're looking at the presidential campaign, when it comes to a national campaign, he's going to be just...
You think so?
I think
okay,
so.
well, I hope that your words are true, because I personally feel that he hates us. He doesn't want us to exist anymore, and he's going to do everything possible for us to be erased. He wants us to leave. He doesn't give a crap about us. He really doesn't. And every one of these bans and every one of these bills, I don't know about you guys, but when I hear it, I'm like, no, come on. They're not really going to ban Rosa Parks' book. No, Maya Angelou, come on. No, you're come on, that's fake news, right? And then I'll go look it up, and it's fact. You know, they want our children to be stupid.
Yeah, and make, even though force them to be born. Right. But then be stupid. And what's crazy about it is that, you know, gay people are not just made. Like, we are born out of other humans. So this whole thing about like trying to erase us, you can't erase gay people. And even if all of us left Florida, there will be a whole new wave of generation of queer people that are being born all the time. And that's funny thing, he's banning abortions, but it's like, if you really want to get rid of us, then tell people to stop having babies. That's the only way to get rid of us.
And you know, and even, I mean, I certainly believe I was born gay, of course. But even if you weren't born gay, even if you choose to be gay, what difference does it make?
Why do you care who I'm in bed with?
What difference does it make if a person chooses to be gay?
Yeah.
I mean, what does it matter to you and your life and your lousy sex life and your, you know, what?
But those are closeted people that have self-loathing issues also. I mean, there's just so many around that, you know? I mean, I know your husband's a psychologist. I can only imagine what he thinks about all of this, you know? Because it's that cognitive dissonance. It really is like something like, it's in your face, but no, that's not really happening. No. What do you mean? No. All the drag queens are grooming the children. All of them.
Right.
We don't even like kids. Most of us don't have any. We don't even want any. We're the best uncles and gaunts ever. We take our brothers and sisters' kids and then we give that little shit right back.
I mean, do you think DeSantis really even believes any of the stuff that he's saying? I mean, I really don't know.
I think I really do think he hates it.
You think he does?
I think he has to believe it to a certain extent for him to push it so much. And what really gets to me is that the Republican Party is supposed to be the party of, you know, small government and non-intrusive ways of governing people, and they have become the most intrusive and largest government policies anywhere.
Body and
they want to be everywhere. In your bedroom, in your bodies, in putting you in jail. They just want to do everything that is not what their party is supposed to stand for.
And just bottom line for the story, what do you think this kind of travel discouragement is going to do to our tourism and our economy.
That is our number one moneymaker here in Florida is tourism. That's where we get the most money from all of you folks coming to visit. And now an organization as respected and as big as Equality Florida is telling you to don't, okay? And, you know, I have friends that have trans kids, you know, and one of their thoughts was like, oh, let's go retire and move down there with our kid. I'm like, don't. Your kid will have no rights here. Please don't, you know? Yeah. And so for Equality Florida, a huge respected organization, to say something like this, it wasn't something that just came about, somebody woke up and went, oh, let's just say nobody go to Florida. It doesn't work that way. You know, this is just ban after drag bill, after this, after that. I mean, they're coming after us at all corners. Yeah. And for women out there that are straight, that you think that they're not, I mean, look, they've come after our vagina, all right? Black folks that are out there, you thought they were coming for you? They're coming for you. They don't want any black history taught at our schools, you know? Now immigrants also, okay? They want, in Miami-Dade County, if you go find and you need health care and you don't have papers, they want those people to report you to the government now, all right? Florida was always a place that you can be okay until you were able to get your papers in order. All that takes money that a lot of immigrants don't have, okay? Everybody's at play. Everybody has a target in their back unless you're a white cisgendered man.
And I wonder, I'm very curious about the numbers for this year Miami Beach Pride, because I wonder if those numbers went below what they usually expect because of all of this craziness that's happening in Florida.
You know, I didn't want to touch on that, Pastor Harold, but I will, okay? I had some women living the trans experience that I, love and adore, and I'm not going to mention names, but a few of them had certain altercations with people at Miami Beach Pride yesterday they'd never had before, okay?
Really?
People saying, like, derogatory words towards them, people misgendering them.
I mean, people watching the parade or whatever.
Yes, or like if they were walking away, saying something to them. So they are among us. They're filming us for their own stuff also. Yes. So they can go back and look what the homos are doing. Look what the queers are doing. And it was a family-friendly event where lots of people brought their children and they were in a safe environment and nothing bad was happening. But a video can be misconstrued however you want it to look. Yeah. You know? And we
had some walkers for Safe Schools that their parents did not feel comfortable allowing their kids that would have gone before. They had been to previous prides to go to Pride because they felt that they were unsafe.
Yeah,
they felt unsafe, and this is, and I think this is new. I don't think this is something that we've seen before.
And how sad is it for an advocate to want to represent? We had that at Unity on the Bay. One of the moms also didn't bring her daughter that has been raised in Unity on the Bay. We have seen this beautiful little girl grow, and she's like, okay, well, now that Ron DeSantis allows anybody to carry a gun, I don't feel safe bringing my daughter to this. And she's always grown up with a pride event. Her mom is straight. She's a wonderful ally. And at a moment I was like, but girl, we need to see your kid here so people can see how much we shine. But then with that same breath, I had to take that back and apologize and go, okay, you're a mom. You had to choose between the safety of your child and this event. And that's sad that you had to choose.
Yeah. And to be honest, like I also felt that sometimes I feel, is this going to be the pride that something bad happens, it's just the fact that to think about that, it's so unfortunate again. It's like,
because he's allowing them to feel like they
empowered,
without
entitled,
a gun, shoot whoever they want.
Exactly.
I mean, look at the news stories. It could happen to us. I don't even know.
Folks, pray for us here in South Florida.
Please,
all right. Send thoughts and prayers our way. We're going to need it. Next, let's queer up South Florida and Florida. The OUTshine LGBTQ Film Festival, Miami edition, begins April 20th. Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, is one of the world's largest LGBTQ plus media networks. And we are proud to be OUTshine LGBTQ plus Film Festival's presenting LGBTQ plus media sponsor. And we are proud to celebrate the festival's 25th anniversary. Wow. OUTshine is everything you want in a film festival. Inviting, glowing, and eclipsing all others before it. It serves as a platform for numerous premieres. It's also the largest LGBTQ plus cultural arts event in South Florida, and is supported by one of the world's largest LGBTQ plus media networks, us, Hotspots Magazine. Join the festival in 2023 for the Miami edition of OUTshine, April 20th through the 30th. And the Fort Lauderdale edition is coming up of OUTshine, October 12th through the 22nd. Take time to celebrate our queer community with OUTshine and Hotspots Magazine and Happening Out Television Network, including Queer News Tonight, It's Happening Out, Sunshine Cathedral Sunday, and the FayWhat Show. We will see you at the movies.
Next, we are proud of our special partnership with Sunshine Cathedral, the world's largest queer church here in Fort Lauderdale. Supporting that partnership, we are broadcasting from our permanent set here at Sunshine Cathedral at the Happening Out television studios. We broadcast Sunshine Cathedral Sunday International Service at 10:30 a.m.
We finished tonight's Queer News headlines with a segment we call LGBTQ+ 1 Minute News.
LGBTQ+ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up drag culture. Why RuPaul's Drag Race Season 15 winner is not the most important thing that happened at the finale. The finale of RuPaul's Drag Race 15th season heavily focused on the importance of queer liberation and trans rights, and a fabulous clapback to the rising tide of anti-drag and anti-LGBTQ+ legislation sweeping the U.S. Season 15 found its rightful conclusion when RuPaul announced that Sasha Colby, former Miss Continental and trans goddess, had won the coveted title of America's Next Drag Superstar. Yes! Upon receiving her crown and scepter after beating out Anitra in the final lip sync of the season, Miss Colby's acceptance speech was the culmination of an episode that screamed trans rights. She dedicated the award to every trans person, past, present, and future, saying, quote, "We are not going anywhere," end quote.
LGBTQ+ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up education. Florida's historic WalkOut to Learn on April 21st will focus on what's happening to LGBTQ+ youth. Students in Florida are coming out in force to educate, activate, fight back, and work towards a statewide revolution in WalkOut to Learn on April 21st. The walk is held in reaction to the oppressive and harmful policies of the legislature and governor. It will be a 24-hour period of action that kicks off with midnight walkouts at Florida's HBCUs and ends with voter-only club events in several major cities. During the walkout itself, students will learn a brief government-censored history lesson, enroll in a virtual college-level African-American history course, and register to vote through an active pledge, which prompts those who sign it to register and send their pledge with their attached voter registration status to all of their representatives, from school board to Senate. Additionally, after Walkout 2, Learn students will have the opportunity to be educated and activated every day of the year through action-based collaboratives called SEE Spaces.
LGBTQ+ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up politics. Florida Session and GOP state representative says it is time to erase the gay community.
We have a definition, and they're the ones that are saying this definition applies to them. Well, if it means erasing a community because you have to target children, then damn right we ought to do it.
Republican Randy Fine represents Florida's 33rd district, covering Brevard County and Melbourne Beach. He is currently trying to get his own HB 1423 through the House, a bill that would penalize any business that allows a child to view an adult live performance, in quotes. He has suggested erasing the whole LGBTQ+ community if, as he claims, they continue to target children. During a state legislative committee hearing, Fine admonished those who were not supporting his homophobic bill. Fine disputes his bill would target all drag shows, claiming that his bill does not use the word drag. He said adult performances in venues such as Hooters would not be impacted. On Facebook, Fine said HB 1423 would ban the city of Melbourne from welcoming drag queens, adult entertainers, from grooming our children. The bill passed the State Administration and Technology Appropriations Subcommittee by a vote of 10 to 5.
LGBTQ plus 1 minute news. Let's queer up courts. Hypocrisy in the Catholic Church as insinuation of underage sex from Pope John Paul II. Pope Francis on Sunday publicly defended St. John Paul II, condemning, quote, offensive and baseless insinuations that recently surfaced about the late pontiff. In remarks to tourists and pilgrims in St. Peter's Square, Francis expressed gratitude for the pontiff's memory. Recently, Orlandi Emanuela's brother Pietro Orlandi appeared on an Italian television program after meeting with Vatican prosecutors. Emanuela Orlandi was the teenage daughter of a Vatican employee who lived at the Vatican. The disappearance of the 15-year-old in 1983 is an enduring mystery that has spawned countless theories and so far fruitless investigations in the decades since. During the program, he played an audio recording containing a statement by an alleged mobster. The speaker in the recording accused the former pontiff of leaving the Vatican at night in the company of 2 Polish monsignors in search of young girls to victimize. While Pope Francis has not directly addressed the accusations, his words on Sunday are a show of support for his predecessor.
LGBTQ plus 1 minute news. Let's queer up education. GLSEN, otherwise known as Gay, Lesbian, Straight Education Network, reports half of all LGBTQ plus students of color have faced in-person discrimination. GLSEN believes that every student has the right to a safe, supportive, and LGBTQ inclusive K-12 education. Recently, a user shared a post by GLSEN on the Rainbow community of Reddit. It was a series of infographics by GLSEN celebrating the Day of Silence. The GLSEN Day of Silence is a national student-led demonstration where LGBTQ plus students and allies all around the country and the world take a vow of silence to protest the harmful effects of harassment and discrimination against LGBTQ plus people in schools. According to the statistics shared in those infographics, half of the LGBTQ plus students of color face in-person victimization based on race and ethnicity. GLSEN also says that more than 30% of LGBTQ plus students reported missing school as they felt unsafe and uncomfortable. You can find more about it on glsen.org.
That's today's news for the LGBTQ plus community on the world's first and only daily LGBTQ plus evening news show.
If our community is important to you, share this news with your friends and family. Are you, like most of America, part of our very large television audience watching this live LGBTQ plus news broadcast right now on Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, and Amazon Fire TV?
Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ plus digital television show in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines. We need your support. If our community is to grow, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world.
This is the only place in the world that tells these types of LGBTQ plus stories in motion and sound. That is the passion of Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, and Queer News Tonight.
I've been your anchor this evening, FayWhat, and on behalf of these LGBTQ plus reporters, the anchors of Queer News Tonight, including Dale Stine, Amy McGrotty, and Pastor Harold Marrero, we will see you daily at 8 p.m. And to our LGBTQ plus world, we wish you good night.
Good night.
LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Laura are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out Television Network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire LGBTQ